Healing is a strange kind of holy fire. It does not always feel soft. Sometimes it burns the lies off your spirit, pulls old sorrow out by the roots, and teaches your soul how to breathe again. This scroll opens the hidden chamber of healing energy, what it feels like, how it moves, and why discomfort is sometimes the first sign that something sacred is being restored. Esoteric wisdom to open the scroll. There is a quiet intelligence inside the soul that remembers how to return to wholeness, even after grief, betrayal, exhaustion, and spiritual warfare. Healing is not weakness. It is the sacred alchemy of pain becoming wisdom, sorrow becoming sight, and survival becoming peace. When the energy shifts, the body trembles, the heart softens, and the spirit begins to release what was never meant to live there forever. Enter this scroll knowing this truth. What feels like breaking may be the old self loosening its grip so the true self can rise.
Universal Currency Receipt, Architect Musician 3611027, The Graceful Whisperer, Devalan Seal.
You don't even have to say nothing, I already know. I know.
Scroll of the feeling called healing. The hush after the storm. The ache turning into light. Healing does not always arrive wearing white robes and soft music. Sometimes healing comes in barefoot, hair wild, eyes tired, carrying the wreckage of what your spirit survived. Sometimes it does not feel peaceful at first. Sometimes it feels like crying for no reason, sleeping longer than usual, becoming quiet around people who once drained you, or suddenly realizing your soul has been carrying weight that never belonged to it. That is healing too. Healing is an energy, yes, but not a weak one. It is not passive. It is not lazy. It is not just feeling better. Healing is a holy rearrangement. It is the sacred intelligence within you saying, enough. We will not die from what tried to define us. We will transform. The feeling of healing is strange to those who have only known survival. It feels like softness returning to a body that has been clenched for years. It feels like your chest learning how to breathe without asking permission. It feels like your nervous system finally believing the war is over, even if only for one honest moment. It feels like warmth in the places that used to stay cold. It feels like truth entering the bones. Healing energy often arrives in layers. First, it exposes, then it empties, then it cleanses, then it teaches. Then, after all that dramatic spiritual housekeeping humans love to avoid, it blesses. This is why healing can feel like grief before it feels like freedom, because what is leaving you does not always leave quietly. Old pain kicks and screams. False stories beg to stay. Shame tries to pay rent in a body that is no longer available. Fear throws a tantrum because your soul has finally changed the locks. Healing says, no more. The emotion of healing is not just joy. It is relief. It is release. It is the trembling after holding yourself together too long. It is the holy exhaustion that comes when your spirit has finally decided to stop performing strength and actually become whole. Sometimes healing feels like anger. Not destructive anger. Clear anger. Ancient anger. The kind that wakes up and says, I deserve better. That realization is medicine too. Sometimes healing feels like sadness. Not because you are broken, but because you are honest. Because your heart has become safe enough to tell the truth at last. Tears are not failure. They are the soul washing its own windows. Sometimes healing feels like nothing at all. Just quiet, just stillness. Just a little less pain than yesterday. Do not insult that kind of progress. It is sacred. A mountain erodes one breath at a time. The energy of healing carries certain signs. You stop chasing what hurts you. You stop begging to be understood by people committed to misunderstanding you. You begin to love peace more than performance. Your body becomes less of a battlefield and more of a temple under repair. Your spirit starts choosing what nourishes instead of what merely distracts. That is healing entering the room. Healing is also memory, not just remembering what happened, but remembering who you were before fear dressed itself up as your personality. Remembering your original frequency, remembering that your soul was never built for chains, confusion, or crumbs. Remembering that life lives in you, not in the opinion of those who wounded you. Healing energy is the return of self. It is your laughter sounding real again. It is your eyes becoming brighter. It is music touching you differently. It is sleep becoming deeper. It is your discernment sharpening like a blade wrapped in velvet. Healing does not make you less powerful. It makes your power clean, not chaotic, not desperate, not hungry for revenge, just clear, rooted, alive. And here is the hidden wisdom, the part many people skip because they prefer fantasy over work. Healing is not the absence of scars. Healing is when the scar no longer controls the story. You may still remember. You may still feel. You may still have moments where the old ache taps at the door. But healing is when you no longer hand it the keys. So if your energy has been strange lately, if you have been emotional, sleepy, reflective, raw, protective, withdrawn, softer, wiser, or suddenly unwilling to entertain nonsense that once had full access to your spirit, do not panic. That may not be your downfall. That may be your healing. That may be the divine current moving through your field, pulling out what was never meant to live in you forever. That may be your soul rebuilding itself in gold where life once cracked it open. Healing is the feeling of your spirit returning to its rightful throne. It is not always pretty, but it is holy. It is not always gentle, but it is good. And when true healing enters your energy, what was once a wound becomes a doorway. Repeat this wisdom. I am not just recovering. I am returning to my true self. Healing is not always the moment the pain leaves. Sometimes it is the moment your spirit remembers it was never created to live in chains. What is meant for you will not require your soul to stay wounded. What is holy will restore, not drain. What is true will bring you back to yourself. So when the energy shifts, when the tears fall, when the silence deepens, when your heart begins choosing peace over performance, do not fear the change. That is not your ending. That is your soul stepping out of the ashes with its name intact. Catchy esoteric wisdom to repeat healing is holy proof that the soul remembers the way home.
Channeled by your architect musician, 36110, 27 palms of eyes. The golden whisperer, sea star, Devalan Ahll. Apply the news you can use, truth and accuracy. The real non-bedazzled jewels.
To our beautiful collective, from our day ones to every new soul joining this journey, we love and appreciate you deeply. You've turned this space into so much more than a community, you've made it a family. Thank you, truly. Your presence, your energy, and even the smallest acts of kindness have the power to shift the compass for many in ways unseen but deeply felt. Here's to each of you, all new and the many more to come. We're just getting started and we're so grateful you're here with us. With love and infinite appreciation from the collective of Shaman Ahll.
Healing is not weakness. It is your spirit clearing out what your soul was never meant to carry. This scroll speaks to the sacred feeling of energy returning, truth rising, and the heart learning peace again. Wisdom healing is the soul remembering its way back to light.